Hi everyone, James Hagglund here. Another episode of Who Are They? And we are with Michelle with United Credit Educational Services. So you had to read that. How's it going, Michelle?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great.
Where are you coming out? Where are you at? Where are you at right now?
I am in Henderson, Nevada, so right next
Okay,
to Vegas.
right. How long have you been there?
Ooh, let's see, 20, almost 21 years now.
Wow.
Yep.
How do you like it down there? You
I,
have to like it if you're 20 plus years now, right?
they kind of trapped me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, because I was able to make decent money as a single mom, because I was a
Uh-huh.
single mom for a while. And there's family here now. But if I could, we would go somewhere else. Me
Yeah.
and my husband, we
Right.
are we would go elsewhere. I don't know what elsewhere would be.
Mhm.
Maybe we will get space in Washington State, which I love in the
Mhm.
summer and be out of the heat and then come back for the winter. I don't know. Hey.
So what do you guys like to do down there for fun?
Oh gosh, I've been thinking about that. And most of the things I really enjoy are outdoors, but there's
Mhm.
not, I mean, I'm sure if I really went digging, like some of my friends are like, yeah, well, hike at Red Rock, but it's seasonal. You can't
Right.
do that whenever you feel like it
Mhm.
because obviously in the summer you may pass out of heat stroke. So
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
not the best idea. So, you might think I'd say go down the strip, but locals avoid it like the plague.
Right,
We
right.
really do.
Mhm.
So if someone comes in and visits and they're like, "What's down the strip?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let's look it up together." They're like, "What?" You're like, "Yeah, we don't do that."
Yeah.
Maybe go to Lake Mead, but it's getting a little low. Anything outdoors. I really like to be outdoors as much as possible. So things with my daughter. I do like hanging out with my girlfriends and just laughing and having fun. Date nights with my husband. We have a couple of good locations here to see shows and stuff.
Mhm.
Not on on the strip, but also off the strip. So
Mhm.
that's kind of nice. We
But
like
yeah,
the
like
golfing here, James. The
I know.
golfing
I've
here
I've
is,
been there.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
I
It's good.
I even tell people, I'm like, I bet you locals don't even go on the strip because it's just like
Uh-uh.
us going to like the Space Needle, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's there. We know it's there. Well, I mean, I've tried to turn our family into local tourists in
Right.
Washington just because we haven't, there's some places that they haven't seen that I saw when I was a kid. But yeah, like you go to Vegas, you're like, hey, where do you go? I go home. As far as the United Credit Educational Services, what do you do with that? How do you help
Of
people
course.
by doing that?
Okay. Absolutely. So I'll start with our flagship program. Really, there's a lot, or flagship service. It's an all encompassing program because we are a non for profit based out of
Mhm,
Farmington, Michigan. And they really try to educate all the way around on wealth and finances.
mhm,
So our one of our flagship programs is credit restoration, and so that works really well with people like yourself, obviously,
mhm,
and other lenders, other real estate agents, things like that, to help their clients be credit worthy for purchasing a home. Well, not refining right now, but in the
yeah,
past, refining
mhm,
or any sort of loan, really. I have a client
mhm,
that really wants to straighten up her credit first to buy a car and then to buy a house. So, besides the credit, a big thing that I always tell clients when they're talking to me is, do you have a will and trust? Because if you
mhm,
don't, I don't care what age you are, you should have it. You're
mhm,
getting a loan to probably acquire an asset. More than likely, it's going to be a home or some sort of asset. You don't want that to go to probate. So it's very important to have that in place. And why not save a bunch of money?
you're
Because
right,
wills and trust in Vegas are a couple $1,000s easy, and be
mhm,
able to make any amendments that you want for the life of the program. So once you start with the programming, you can do a will and trust and make any changes you want. And it's very, very reasonable price wise to do that.
mhm,
There's a budgeting feature, there's a debt consolidation feature, there's identity theft, because that's running rampant right now. So we
mhm,
should always be. There's an ability to see what your credit score is and what comes on and off it, like right away, without having to do hard pulls or any pulls, really.
mhm,
So that's a couple of features, but it's very inclusive. I love this company because they really care about us as agents, they care about the people. And we start trying to educate kiddos in schools as young as possible.
Mhm.
They're very philanthropic as well. We gave away over 2 million in scholarships to high school seniors and college freshmen. I think this last year we gave $650,000 away. Now that's a chunk.
Nice. Right.
That's a chunk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really, really love the company. I love what they stand for. I love that they're trying to help the next generation understand about how to use credit, how to get your finances in order. We all should have a budget. We all should have good credit. We all should have will and trust. These things are key components to financial wellness. And I just appreciate that they see the value of that and really want that for their clients and us and everyone we can possibly touch and help that wants to be helped.
Mhm. So, as far as we'll go back to the credit restoration part of it. What's the typically like? What's the process of that?
Of
Like, just
course.
in general, you don't have to get too specific, but
Right.
just give somebody an idea what they would be getting into if they're looking to repair their credit.
Okay. Well, everyone's credit's different. So I usually try to have a quick 15-minute conversation to find out what's going on.
Hmm.
So I'm going to give a scenario of someone that has negative things on their credit report, and quite a few. So what would happen is we have a brief conversation, then they would sign up with the process, and then we do a soft pull of their credit. So once they do that, then our attorneys take a look at the credit report. They collaborate and with all three bureaus and compose letters. Not everything is going to be the same for every bureau,
Hmm.
because if the person that we owe money to didn't decide to uh, post on that bureau, then it won't be there.
Hmm.
And that's another conversation, but
Right.
trying to be
Right.
succinct in answering your question here.
Hmm.
And then once the letters are composed, this whole process takes maybe 20 or 48 to 72 business hours. It's pretty fast.
Hmm.
And then letters are composed, and you will have access to a portal so that you have this is the client. The client will have access to the portal. So there's complete transparency about what's going on between the client and our office.
Hmm.
Now, we do ask that the client mail the letters, and I'll tell you why. Number one, all the people that we have as clients that I'm aware of don't live at our physical address and office in Farmington.
Right.
They don't. So when letters are sent from other locations and it's not matching what the bureaus have for you, they can deny that.
Hmm.
They can't deny it if they see, oh, okay, John Doe, it says it here. It says it here in his ID. We have proof that this is John Doe and he's reaching out. The
Hmm.
bureaus only have 45 days from date of receiving to respond. And that's by law. It's called the
Hmm.
Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Right.
So they only have 45 days to respond. And if they don't, things come off. And I'm telling you, they won't keep up with that over time because
Hmm.
that's not a profit center for them. They
Hmm.
know we have these rights, but they're not making money off that. They're making money off people posting to your credit report in various
Hmm.
other ways. And they're
Hmm.
a for-profit industry where we are nonprofit.
Right.
And
Right.
also looking out for you, looking
Hmm.
out for your clients. So that's the basic process. The last component would be if the bureaus do respond in the 45-day period, you will get notification via mail, email, that type of thing, and get that over to me, and then we go again. This
Hmm.
does take, it can take a few times. We typically see upward mobility in the first 90 days. Should the client mail the letters, that's a key component.
Okay.
The bureaus have the 45 days to verify the debt. If they can't
Hmm.
verify that with, I'll just say debtor or a
Hmm.
person that's owed money in 45 days, well, it's 45 days for the whole process. So they have less than
Right.
45 days.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
know they're on the clock once they get that letter. They know the law. If they don't get the response back in that amount of time, it's off. I don't
Okay.
care. We've seen a bankruptcy come off in a month. Now that's a
Right.
wow, boom
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they can't verify it, it's gone. And
Okay.
that's our legal tactic on how we get things off. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter if it belongs to you or not. Now, I'm not saying don't pay that debt.
Right.
I'm saying you came to us probably for credit.
Right.
So that's how we get off or legally get things off your credit report. I do want to add something. If you ever hear someone say, I can get something off your credit report in less than 45 days, they're lying. They're
Mhm.
lying.
Mhm.
Or also, it's illegal. That's not legal. So I'm going to
Yeah.
do something legal.
Yeah.
I work in finance. I want to keep my job and I don't want to go to jail.
Everybody asks, "Well, how do I get rid of this off my credit report or whatever?" And I can't
Mhm.
guide them through that,
Right.
right? I can talk
Right.
about the mortgage, the financing side of that, but that's why we need, like, we have specialists, professionals like you,
Mhm.
that's what you guys do, and that's where we go, right? Um,
Exactly.
I can always go in and go, well, if you pay down your credit card, this
Mhm.
might increase your credit score.
I'm glad you said might. I'll tell you one quick story. I had a lender, and the
Mhm.
lender told her, "Oh, if you pay $10,000 worth of debt down before you do this refi, then your credit score will go down enough." It didn't go down 1 point, not one.
Oh, really?
You always got to talk to someone like me. I will
Right.
guide you through that.
So a client goes to a credit restoration company and they come back to me and they're like, James, I've not heard from them,
Mhm.
right? What is there an issue? I mean, there's an issue with that, right? And
Yes.
but they look on their bank statement and they're still paying this monthly
Yes.
fee,
I
right?
know.
So I'm
I
like, a
know.
year
I know.
later,
I
like
know.
you spent, I don't know,
I
let's say
know.
$50 a month, 12 months, that's $600, right? Like,
Yeah.
has anything, and then when I pull credit, I go like, nothing's changed. Like, what's
Right.
going
I
on,
mean, I
right?
won't mention names so that way I
Right,
don't seem like
right,
I'm bad mouthing, but there are a lot of unscrupulous people. You can say that about your industry, any
right,
industry.
right.
And that's why if I had somebody that tells me, like, Michelle, I'm not going to send the letters, I don't even have anywhere else to send them because I
Mhm,
would never send someone to anybody that I didn't think was scrupulous
mhm,
or had scruples, basically, was
right,
unscrupulous.
mhm,
So that's what's going on. And I hear it
mhm,
time and time again. It breaks my heart, but at least I'm able to help them. And that's
right,
why our mission is to educate people that they have options and to be very frank about the part they play in making this happen. And there's a
mhm,
reason why, to me, sending letters isn't a big deal, but I've had people where either they're elderly and that's just beyond them, and that's okay. They don't have anybody to help them. I'm very honest and I say, I might not be the person for you. I wish I had a resource for you. I don't. I'm not going to send you someone's going to scam you. No
right,
way.
right,
No, here's a site any client can go to for credit wellness annualcreditreport.com.
mhm,
It's a credit wellness site, and they've changed how many times they let you pull for free, but you at least get one per year for free. And it
mhm,
is a soft pull. It's a credit
mhm,
wellness pull. And
right.
I'm more than happy to give people advice.
So if it's taking longer for some reason, maybe they should reach out to somebody else like you to find out how legit that other company. Like, I'm not naming names either, right?
Of
But
course.
if it's like a year goes by and they're like, I don't know,
That shouldn't happen.
it
Nope,
shouldn't.
because some companies too, not mentioning names, will go after one thing at a time because they want you to keep paying for as long as they can. We
Right.
don't do that. We go after
Yeah.
everything all at once.
They're like, well, we're working with a credit repair company. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
well, how much you paying them? They're like, I think it was like, I want to say $50 a month or something like that. And I'm like, okay. I go, how long have you been paying them for? And they're like 2 years.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
go, and I'm like,
Uh,
I look at their credit report, and I go, this debt that you're trying to get off is like $1,000.
yeah, there's no
You
way that
you
should
should
happen.
have. And I said, I would have just paid that debt off
Mhm.
versus paying the credit repair for 2 years, right? Because I'm like, you would have had the money to
Would
pay
have been
that debt
done.
off.
One thing I do have to say, if you do decide to pay a debt off and you're really doing it to straighten up your credit, get it in writing. Get in
Hmm.
writing that they're gonna remove it off your credit report. I'm gonna tell you now, I've never heard a company do it no matter what the amount was. I don't know
Hmm.
why,
Hmm.
but if you're doing it for your credit and they're not willing to put in writing that they would remove it off your credit, then why would you do it?
Right.
I'm not
Right.
saying don't pay it, but why would you pay that large amount right then unless you get in writing it's coming off your credit report?
Right.
But I just want to preface with saying that I know it's probably happened, but I've never heard of it happening
Mhm.
ever.
So, what kind of books do you read, or what do you
Mhm.
recommend to
I
people?
love any if I'm gonna read, because 'cause I'm not a big reader, I'm more like books on tape or
Yeah,
podcasts or
audio,
audio.
yeah.
Yeah. So, um, I love John Maxwell. He is just my fave. Mostly like to hear him speak, but any of his books have been instrumental in guidance for me. There's The Go Giver. Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I'm doing a discipleship book right now with Carolyn Leaf. So yeah, there's just so many out there that are just amazing. Atomic Habits. Like I'm only going to really sit down and read and focus if it's something that's going to grow me.
Right.
Because I'm not a reader, I wouldn't read for leisure. I'd probably listen to a podcast.
Growing up or even now, who's influenced you?
Well, growing up, it was various things. It's so funny. Even I thought of a couple of people from our high school. I still talk to occasionally Maya Hansen, and her mom was always so kind to me because I
Mhm.
studied Spanish all through. You'd think I'd be bilingual, but no. Like 6 years of Spanish and like it's in there. But anyway,
Right.
so because of her kindness and Mr. Sampson, the marketing teacher, he was very kind to me as well. And then some people in my life that just kind of when trouble was coming around, kind of kept me safe when I was
Mhm.
younger, so to speak. Now, oh, I mean, I really just do. I really like John Maxwell, but I'm venturing out and checking out some other people. I really like Gary V. I don't know if you know
Right.
him. I
Yep,
really,
yep.
I mean, you've got to be okay with the language because
Yeah.
but he really cares about people. And I think he's going to be big influence on the younger generation, which I'm concerned about. And I
Mhm.
think I'm really glad that the younger generation is very much in tune. He's very much in tune with them and knowing
Mhm.
about Meta and NFTs and stuff that
Right, right.
gaming, whatever, because they need somebody like him that
Mhm.
they can look up to and really have as their well, for lack of better words, hero, mentor, whatever.
So, what would you like to leave us with today, either by your work or just personal? Like, what would you give advice
Well,
or
a little of both. I as we're talking about Gary Vee, I would definitely say be your authentic self. Find your happy. Something I've been working on for a while. Healthy boundaries. It's taken me into my 40s to be able to have some healthy boundaries.
Mhm.
It's okay to say no sometimes if it doesn't serve you, as long as it's in a
Mhm.
loving way.
Right.
Um, and as far as my business goes, I just love it. I mean, anything to help people, I'm gonna it's gonna be a draw to me. And as long as the company has morals and they genuinely care about people, I think I've gotten to a place. I've been this way my whole life, but really now, I really need to make sure that I am in line with the company that I work with.
Mhm.
I feel
Mhm.
like that we're in sync that way, just because I have to sleep at night and I want to know. I think as you get older, you start to think, when I leave this earth, I want to leave not only a legacy, but I want people to say, she really did try to help people. She
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
did care about people. She was a good person at heart. And not just because I'm a Christian, but just because that's who I am.
Right.
So that's all I
Yeah.
have to say.
I don't want to leave this earth with nobody there.
True, true.
Right?
Yeah, we don't right. You don't wanna be at your funeral and like, well, not you won't be at your funeral, but you know what I mean. You
Well,
don't want
we
your
will
funeral to
be
be like
there.
yeah, we will right, right, right. Right, we will be there technically. Anyway, and like, "Oh, wow, nothing good to say."
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Well, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate
You're
your time,
welcome.
and we'll get your contact information and all the information you shared, and so people can reach out to you if they have any questions about credit restoration or even like a will or anything like
Sure,
that. Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Got
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.